What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Bitcoin has been doing some crazy moves. The market has been going crazy. Pumps, dumps, FOMC, all that. How are we to make sense of that? We're going to see what the market is going to do. Weekend is coming up. Weekends are usually crazy. Usually weekends are choppy. Tomorrow is Friday, last day of the week. So usually on the last day of the week, we expect some choppy movement. What am I looking at? Before I get into that, let me know if the volume is clear. Trying to get my setup right here. And if the volume of the music is too loud, let me know. If I'm too loud, let me know. Basically what we're looking at Bitcoin over here is the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly. The Ichimoku gives support and resistance. As we can see, we are on the weekly beneath the Ichimoku resistance cloud. It's a thick cloud. Nothing says we can't get to 30,500. That will be just a small move from today. That will be another 5% move from the high of today. But we've seen Bitcoin do much crazier moves on the day, on a single day, when there is enough volume. Volume has been... let's look at the volume. Volume. We had a nice spike of volume here. Higher than this volume. We could have some interesting moves today, tonight. It all depends. If you're short, you're long. I mean, interesting moves. Even on the daily, it looks much better. On the daily, we are above. So if you want to look at it bullishly, it depends on your perspective. If you look at it weekly, on the weekly, we are beneath the resistance cloud. On the daily, it depends what time frame you're trading. The CME gap has been fully recovered and a few dollars more. So yeah, we exceeded the CME gap. We went to 28,881 on this exchange on Binance. But if you look at the Bitstamp chart, basically not including futures, you would see that we got to 29,020. So realistically, if you don't look at the futures, realistically you have hit the 29k zone. Where's that? That's 28,936. Was it the Coinbase chart? I remember seeing, it was the Bybit. Here's a Bybit chart. How far did we go in the Bybit? I clearly saw 29,020. For some reason, I can't see that anymore. Well, we got so close to the 29k on Bybit, 28,897. So could that mean that Bitcoin will continue higher? What I'm looking at the bullish perspective to be realistic on the daily. I had this green trend line, so many green trend lines. Let me get rid of this. This is not valid anymore. When we were right here in December, I drew this trend line as a trend line of support. I thought it was a bear flag, but it was support initially. this would be the bear flag from down here. But we held support and we are climbing higher. Now we are above, we claimed that trend line. So the trend for the short term on the daily time frame, it's up, you can't deny it. We could take shorts, we could take scalp shorts over here. Over here, I got into a scalp short somewhere around here. I have my stop somewhere higher. But we are holding as long as we are above this trend line. So say tomorrow, if we are to look bearish, is breaking below the 27,455, which we know the 27,400, I have it here. We have the low of this range. The CME gap started at 27,362. So as long as we are in this box, we're holding the 27,360. We could be looking higher. If I wanted to chance along, then it would be around this range. But we see some deviations. So we need to have some tolerance for a stop loss. So say we entered a long trade from down here. And we had our stops just below this wick over here. That would be a 3. Yeah, that would be a 2. About a 2-to-1 risk to reward. That would be a good one. And if we were aiming for this high, 29,020, that is a 2-to-1. So I would say the risk to reward is nice, but I usually like to take trades with higher reward to risk or risk to reward. I like to take higher probable trades. Now this range was a bit easy. Well, it was a bit difficult, but if you just went blindly at the top of the range short and at the bottom of the range, you could see every time we hit the top once, we came all the way down, hit the top again, and now we're pulling down again. My support is here, is a POC, point of control of this entire range from here. The POC stands at 28,070, I would say. If I take this box away just for clarity, and let me turn off the Ichimoku cloud. One more thing, this is on the hourly. Even on the hourly we haven't, but we're piercing below. So this is a Kumo twist. Essentially this is where you could break down, and it looks like it wants to break down. But if we can hold the 28,077, then Bitcoin will be showing more momentum to the upside. We basically, what we did, we deviated from the range. We've seen this so many times. I always talk about this Bart Simpson pattern, upside down Bart Simpson, almost like a rectangle. We come down impulsively. Once you start seeing this creeping upwards, then a lot of times you would see it quickly come up again to recover that. I've seen it play out so many times. If you go back in the chart, if you get your eyes used to seeing these patterns, I would have expected it here. We got a small one, recovered maybe 50% or a bit less. Excuse me. Down here, you see this, we recovered the whole move. You could just trade it that way. Once you see a quick move to the downside or to the upside, if it's to the downside, you start seeing it creeping upwards, holding, then you would expect eventually for it to go up. If you look at moving averages, you see you came down to this yellow trend, what do you call it? 55 EMA. You bounced off it. You have to have some tolerance, and that's how you could exploit the chart. What I'm trying to do here in my channel is basically help traders, especially beginners, because I know how it is to be a beginner in a trade. Like if I look at this over here on the 1 hourly, I got a long signal. That is the 8, 13, and 21 crosses the 55. That tells me it's too long. But I've noticed something. On the hourly, it's not very effective. But if you see it on the 4 hourly, you would notice that when you see that signal, you essentially, if you see a long signal, you would dump a bit. So you would do something like this. You could come down and then start creeping up, and then your long plays out. So you have to have some tolerance in your trades. Now I'm going to switch off these EMAs, and we're going to try to project the probabilities for Bitcoin. Now, I'm looking at this. This would tell me the up move was over. This was an impulse down, and I could project where I would like Bitcoin to go. So first I would take a fib retracement and see how far did we retrace. Maybe the 0.786. We retraced to the 0.887, got rejected, but once you retrace to the 0.887, it could tell you there is a continuation that is coming. Continuation where? Now at this instance it would be continuation to the upside. That's what it would tell me, but it might be wrong. Now I look at this and say, okay, that's wrong. I want to see how far up could I go. So I'll take it from down here. This was my first wave up. My move down came to here. And it could tell me the 1-to-1. I could see the 31K 600. Golden pocket at 29,690. Now, depending how low this go, maybe it can go lower. What if it comes down to the 0.618 retracement of this move up? A very deep retracement, as in a 1 and a 2 and a 3 to the upside. So if it came all the way down to the 0.618, then we could project the possibility. How high could it go? We could see the 30,815, or even up to the 33,910. At the moment, my supports for this would be down there. Just taking this last swing low to the swing high and assuming it's going to come down. It's all a game of probabilities. It could come as low as the 25,823. That's a zone of interest. If we start tanking, I'll be looking at that. If we lose that, then I'll be looking at the 0.786, which would lie perfectly with the value area low. However, we are above the POC. That is support. That is still holding a support. Other people will look at this as a Gartley. Let's see if I can find. I mean, does it work as a Gartley? There's some certain measurements you have to have for a Gartley. I doubt it could work. Yeah, that's not a perfect Gartley, but it is there. So if it starts tanking, then I could take the 0.618 retracement of this move. That's a very shallow trade. You could go to the 27,400. Now, the 27,400 is that zone I was talking about, the bottom of that CME gap, and we need to be watching for that. 15-minute time frame. It's flagging out. So we have a bull flag over here with a nice measured move. Perfect bull flag. And say it breaks out over here. We could see the 29,920. So 30K is in the mix. We could see Bitcoin do this. We came down. We could go up. B, C, D, E, and a breakout. So we could see something like this. Just a projection. We could see something like this happening in Bitcoin. And the target could be 30K. So it depends what you want to chance, a long or a short. But I have those levels of resistance. 30,500 if you can get above 29,020. Now if I go from the low, looking at the higher time frame, if I go from here, we had a move to the upside, pull back to the downside, and look for confluence somewhere between the 0.786 and the 1-to-1 extension. Somewhere around this zone, I could see us getting up there. It's a possibility. I do believe we could have a low, a new low. We could put in a new low, but this is short-term possibility. Bitcoin to come up here. It's very possible. It's very important to have to not be biased to the market. Everyone has a bias. Like some people think it's going up, some people think it's going down, but you have to be open-minded. You really have to be open-minded, otherwise you could get wrecked terribly. You could blow off your accounts. If you start taking very risky trades, you could get wrecked. Just always have your stops so you can have enough money to re-enter again. Don't risk more than you're willing to lose. I mean, if you have a small account, don't be risking too much. If you have a $100 account or a $50 account, you need to trade wisely. Let me see if I can pull up something over here and see if it's gonna work. Let's see. Let's look at the liquidations. Stochastics are pulling down. They have more room to the downside on the 15-minute. On the 1 hour, same thing. We're crossing down. 4 hourly has room to go to the upside. So for the short term, we may be pulling down. Daily is up, but we could stay there for a while. As you see, sometimes we could spend a long time over here. Could spend a week or so. It's very probable. Liquidation levels, you could see that we have on the hourly, we have a lot of liquidity to the downside also. On the upside, you could see that we have 0.5 million shorts over here, liquidations, 2.7 million at 25x over here, 86.9 million at 50x over here. Wow, a lot of liquidations. 100x traders are just down here, longs, 58.58 million, 3.7 million. It's really showing you how traders are acting and reacting, and the markets take advantage of that. If we go to even a higher time frame and look at this, I want to show you something else. On extremely high time frames, on the daily, 4 hourly, pull a trend line from down here. Let's see the log chart, possibly. Sometimes you need to look at the log chart. And we could pull something from up here. We extend the line to the right. Okay, this is a big pattern that we're in. So if we are in this pattern, I mean, it's not a perfect pattern. To the upside, we have that. And down under, we have this. 18.4, that's crazy. I don't expect it to go to 18.4 today. That would be so funny if it did. 34k to the upside, 18.265 to the downside. Very crazy. ATR tells you the average true range between the candles. So on the hourly, it's quite high. It needs time to cool off, so it might range for a while. It's very possible. The caterpillar, let's look at the caterpillar. We're still extended, we're still expanded, I mean. Once you see it contracting like this, that's what calls for big moves, and I usually measure it. If it gives me a percentage of less than 1 or less than 2, it's good. At the moment it's expanded. I've seen it when it does less than 2, like over here. We do expect an explosive move coming up. Like here it was at 1.58, and eventually you saw the drop that went as low as, let's count that, 13%. So you like to see it contracted. I posted before in one of my videos on my live streams, I was saying we're very much extended on the daily on the Bollinger Bands, and whenever we're extended to the upside, we do expect a pullback. The mid of the Bollinger Band on the daily is at 24,281. So 24,200 is a possible target. 4 hourly Bollinger Band, we're getting rejected from the top. The mid is at 27,855. That is our support. The bottom, if we break 26.9, then that will mean we're running down for liquidity to the downside. You see the highlighted, the shaded zones? These are zones of telling you there was a lot of trading in these zones, and we could come down. So if you lose the 26.9, then essentially you may be coming down to this level of support. If you release from here, then you're getting into this zone, the 23k zone. A lot of times we see reversals towards the end of the week, and we're approaching that. It looks like Bitcoin wants to make some moves to the downside. On the 5 minute, we must have lost the 50. We're just at the 50 EMA. So as I told you, sometimes you get the long signal on that indicator and you do see a pullback and maybe then to the opposite direction. So on the hourly, we had a long signal over here. This candle was telling us to long, but we're pulling down. You see, we're pulling back up. So this signal says long, but you could expect a move down, then a move up. Let's look at the smaller time frame. It's very interesting to see what's happening inside the candles. On the 1 minute, we broke the 50 EMA. If we can't get above the 50 EMA on the 1 minute, if we come up here and get rejected, say we do something like this, come up, rejection, you see a wick up and then go down, you'll be coming to this zone, 28.1. There you go, it's wicking. Let's see how it plays out. Very low volume, blue candle, and we might get a push up. Look at that, red then blue. Could be a reversal. But if you just keep it a bit simplified, risk management, don't over trade. Don't overtrade. If you have a small account, it's understandable that you'd want to use leverage, but don't overtrade. I mean, you should have a limit of trades. Okay, if I lost $30 today, then I need to save some cash for a higher probable trade. Otherwise, I'll be lying on the sidelines till the end of the month, and I would see higher probable trades play out, and I can't take advantage of them because I'm out of cash. That would be unfortunate. Now, we could say that Bitcoin, essentially we have 3 touches, and we could say we're building a new range now. This can be my new range. We have a high over here and another high here very close by. So I could say 2 touches up, 1 touch between them, and that's my range. Mid of the range is not a zone you take a trade. Mid of the range is possibly take profit 1, TP1 over here in the middle. So you could trade it this way. Bottom of the range, 26,550, and then you say the top of your range is over here, 28,890, 29k, and you play it like that. Short up, long at the bottom, short up, long at the bottom until you fail in one trade, but hopefully you'd made more money in your winning trades. You could even trade using the Bollinger Band on the 1 minute. It's a bit crazy, but it's very possible to use the 1 minute. There you go. And just looking at this, when you're piercing above the Bollinger Band, you would usually have 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it pushes up, but you could take a chance when you're at the top of the Bollinger Band. Once you see a red candle like this, you could take a chance to at least to the middle of the Bollinger Band, or attempt to ride it down. Now look at that. This looks like it could be a recovery. We could easily go to 27.3. This is on the 1 minute. If we break this and break this low over here, you could be coming down. It's very possible. Looks like we're going down, trying to go and break the Bollinger Band. If we do, then there are zones that I mentioned. And this over here at the moment, short term on the 1 minute, this is support 27.7. If we break that, then we might be coming to the low of the range at 26.573. We have the 27.3 here as a 1 minute support. We've been consolidating here for a while. Look at that. We could get some support over there. That's trading the 1 minute. Let's look at the dollar index for a minute. What is the dollar? The dollar has been tanking and Bitcoin's pulling up. Something's not right over here. Usually when the dollar is moving down, Bitcoin should move up. The Nasdaq is kind of pulling down. It is pulling down. The Dow Jones slightly. The ES, that's a SPY. We are pulling down. Let's look at the hourly. We are pulling down. So this may be a distribution day. We're still pulling down. We had to move up, move down, move up, and now we might be continuing lower. So the S&P 500 mini futures could come as low as the 3,933 or the 3,866. If it breaks and starts getting into this zone, it might release. We need to be careful of that. Going back to Bitcoin on the hourly. We got 3 red candles in a row. 1, 2, 3. The next one will be a determining factor. I mean, we had 3. If the next one is 3, then I would expect a lower push, possibly recover to the mid of the range, 27,717. There we go. We're getting that bounce from the lower range. We need to see how we act at the mid of the range, 28,230, level by level. Let's look at Mr. Ethereum. Same thing. Ethereum is reacting. Zones of interest for Ethereum. What is Ethereum doing? Basically, if we look at it, Ethereum looks like it's ranging over here, attempting to break up. We formed some sort of a flag and we broke up, but we haven't completed. We could have another push to the upside and surprise the market. At the moment, everyone is kind of looking that we might tank due to Jerome Powell being hawkish yesterday. Solana, look at that. Our next zone to the upside is 25,725 if we can get there. Down here, 18,343, 18,353. Support. Quant. Resistance at 131. You could see how we hit that perfectly. We came back to this descending channel, but we bounced off it. Could we just range here all the way down? It's quite possible. The mid of the range, you see, it's a point of interest. Even if you pull a fixed range volume profile over here, very interesting. Value area low bounce. Look at that. So your POC for Quant is at 125.11. Litecoin. How's Litecoin doing? Litecoin is the only thing that's going up today. I think it's the best performer. I'm sure there are better alts, but I mean from Litecoin, Bitcoin, Solana, Quant, Ethereum, this has been doing the best. It had a delayed move. I mean, the rest of the market pumped and all that, then Litecoin decided to move. I don't think so. We did much yesterday with Litecoin. So essentially, what I would do, either enter a short here and put my stops above 95, if I can tolerate that, or wait for another retest. But as you can see, the candle is a shooting star, so that's not a bullish pattern if it closed like this in 22 minutes. We see this one couldn't follow through, the next one couldn't follow through, the next one rejection, and this is looking very weak. On the 15-minute, maybe the EMA is already crossing down. Let's look at the EMAs. They're about to cross down, not yet. We have some fib channels over here that may be support and resistance over here. If you look at this, you could see that this fib channel was respected over here. This one was respected over here. So if we come down, there's a high probability that this could hold if we get there today. If it's tomorrow, obviously it would take a few hours and it would move higher. Fibonacci channels, they play out. If you draw them correctly, you could see you play them out. Look at that. Look at that. Respect. So if you draw these lines, you could find zones of probable trades. Sometimes we bust through them. You won't win every trade, but the point is to minimize your losses or to make your winners more than your losses, or your gains more than your losses. Now to the upside, if we push up 33,000, that's way far-fetched for today. I don't think so. I don't think so, 33, but 30,500 or 29,500, that's a zone I'll be looking at for sure. Looks like we're trying to hold. We're trying to hold. That is telling you that we may have some upside. You're above the 50, no reason to be bearish. So how are you to trade it? The safest way of trading it is possibly, that's the 1 day time frame. On the 1 hourly time frame, you are just at the 50. So how would you trade this? If I was to trade this and I saw the chart over here, I would get into a short. Obviously I would get stopped out. I would wait for another sign, but you wait for a break and you wouldn't want to see an immediate reversal candle. You would want to see it creeping up, coming up here, getting a wick, getting rejected. I'll give you an example over here. We could see this in reverse. We got so far overextended from the 50 EMA. So when you're overextended, you expect a mean reversion. You expect it to come back to the median, the 50 EMA, which is this purple cloud. So you see this, you got extended, you could trade it to the 50. That's one strategy. On an uptrend, you could still short. The safest play is to long. So you could long, once you get to the 50, you could take a chance at this kind of candle when you have a candle that's showing you a stopping volume, or sometimes you're blessed with a double bottom. You had the stopping volume here. Next candle over here was a stopping volume, and you take that. A safe way to play this is you wait for the second touch. You didn't get in here? Fine, you wait for the second touch. You came up, that's your second touch. I posted it in the Discord that I'm entering a short. We're having a second attempt of the upper range, and I entered there. So I'm short at the moment. How far? It depends on what I want to do. Safest play, you play it to the 50 on the 1 hour time frame, for example. 27,900 would be a zone to take profit or to exit. If you're trading with a small account, then that will be a very small profit, and you would be not very happy if it continued, but you would never know if you're going to continue or not. Take what the market gives you and run away from the market and come back another day to play. Now, the safest way to enter a short. I'll show you an example. How do you enter a short using the 50? Very beautiful example is over here. We had this big move. You've missed it. If you entered over here, you would get stopped out probably by this candle. You wait for this. You wait for it to creep to the 50 EMA. Eventually, it will creep up. Some altcoins don't creep up back. They stay away from the 50 and start flying. But this is Bitcoin. It doesn't do it usually, unless it's in a very trending market, like in the bull market or an extreme bear market. You won't get a touch of the 50. You would, but probably not easily. So you wait for that. Then what do? I see that wick. I see the next candle is a red candle, but a wick to the downside trying to scare me off. I would wait. It's wicking the highs. 1 wick, 2 wick, 3 wick. I would enter here and I could ride it all the way down. Once we get here, over here would be my next entry. Rejection again of the 50. However, you can see it formed a double bottom and it continued. So you need to have a plan. I hate when people say you have to have a plan, because it's very hard sometimes to make a plan, but you need to trust your guts, take profits when you can. Simple. Take profits when you can. Take profits when you're satisfied with the trade. Move your stops into break even or profits as soon as you're satisfied. So if you're here, you're long. Say you longed over here. You saw Bitcoin building a small base over here and you longed it. As soon as I'm satisfied, I would push my stop up. I see Bitcoin doing this, I will be like thinking, should I come out? Should I stay in the trade? Should I remain in the trade? I would hold. Maybe I would exit on this wick. It would look scary and we're about to dump. So yeah, that's how you play it. You could take some profit, 25%, 50% profit. And you build your account gradually. With a small account, you could build it gradually. As I say, if you have a $100 account, you could do trades and get $20 $10 here, $20 here, using a bit of leverage. And eventually you build your account to $200. You've just doubled your capital. Now, you shouldn't rush into getting into a bigger position because you doubled your money, you double your positions. No, you should hold a bit, because if you double your position immediately, you might give away your gains. And if you trade during low volume times, you might give away all your gains if you're not a very experienced trader. So essentially, if you're an experienced trader, you could trade the low volume times like the weekends or other times. But if you're not experienced, trade during high volume time. New York session, if you can, the London session, the Asian session, that's when you get some volume and you could trade it. But otherwise, you would give away your gains. So always trade. Say you doubled your account, you still stick to the same amount of margin that you used when you had a smaller account, and build it a bit more gradually. Don't double it, because you doubled your margin. You think you can, you doubled your portfolio, you think you can double your margin immediately. You might give away those gains out of greed. Now 1 hourly is refusing to break. 15-minute, we're kind of holding here. You could see we retraced about 50% of that. That essentially could be a reversal point. We're about almost to the 50% over here, the 0.5 fib. So that could be a reversal back up. Now the move down that we had from Fed Chair Powell was impulsive, but it was out of the norm. It was due to news. So it might not give you a good direction of the market. Even though this could be a strong wave down, we expect a small retracement and a wave down, but this wave is too long compared to this wave. So I would think it could just be a deviation back, and now we're getting back to the trend. We could be moving up, and this could be another 1-2-1-2 setup, some kind of a 1-2 setup, and we could move higher from here. We are flagging out, just to tell you, though I'm short, but I'm going to tell you as I see it. I'm not going to lie. We went to the 1.272. We could continue higher to the 1.618, 29,141, or we could go lower. Essentially, to continue this momentum higher, you don't want it to come once you break this. This is on the 15-minute, mind you, if you take the retracement. So once you break the 26,931 and you start closing below it, then you know that we're coming much lower to the 26k or even the 25,500, 25,200 zone. This is bullish. 15-minute, 50 crossed the 200, but your EMAs are starting to cross down. The 5 and 13 are crossing over, which tells you momentum may be shifting. So you need to be careful about that. If you like the stream, please hit the likes, subscribe. You could put out your coins. If you want me to take a look at any coins, I'll be more than happy to do so. This just takes a second to smash the likes. That's all I ask for. Yeah. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. So, any specific questions or coins you want to take a look at, let me know. I've done my TA in depth on Bitcoin, gave the levels. Bitcoin looks like it's attempting to break down. We're still holding the 50 EMA cloud. We may have some more upside. I said possibly even 30k is possible. We are in some sort of an ascending wedge on higher time frames. So if we go on the Binance chart, we are in some sort of wedge. There you go, the white lines. Switch of indicators. And this is the top of the wedge. And this over here is the bottom of the wedge. So we have these two zones down here, and up here we would have this zone as a zone of interest, which is a bit far away, but it could happen. It's not a perfect wedge. I don't really like it. I could look at it more as an ascending, possibly an ascending channel. It looks better than the wedge in my opinion. If we do this, now this is a different wedge. This is a nicer wedge, I believe. We have a touch down here, a touch up here, touch down here. Could we go make that touch up there? So there are a lot of patterns in play, a lot of patterns in patterns, and you choose what pattern you want to play with. I gave this pattern in my Discord. It's not a pattern, it's just a parallel channel. On the hourly, you could see that we've been respecting it. Touch to the low, up, down, and almost touch the top side. We could see what it does here. We could retrace to the middle, 27.7, and probably you'd see a stopping volume candle. That would look like possibly a long wick with a small body on the top, and that would tell you possible continuation to the top of the channel. Mid of the channel is not my favorite point to trade because we could have a liquidation or something. I prefer to trade the highs and the lows of a range. That's my range. Over here we could move up. This we could put a Fibonacci extension over here and look at that. And you can see we went to the 1.272, the 1.618, where would be a, like if it's a correction in ABC, 29,132. It could happen by tonight. Could we have 30K in 1 day or 3 days? It's possible. People are talking about 1 million in whatever 90 days, but it's a bet that someone put with another person, because the other person was saying we're going into hyperinflation. Then the other guy says I will bet 1 million, or did he say 2 million, that Bitcoin will go to 1 million in 90 days, meaning that we're not in hyperinflation. But it looks like Jerome Powell made it clear yesterday that they will continue raising interest rates, though the banks are suffering. Is the music too loud in the stream, or is my mic too close and loud? Just got rid of the music. I think it's causing some lag in my stream. I think the music is causing some lag. Nothing worse than a laggy stream. Yeah, it looks like I'm having some lag in my stream. This is on the 5 minute. See Bitcoin trying to make its way down. But it's kind of holding this range at the moment. Let's see how it does. We broke the 55 EMA, got rejected on the 5 minutes, so don't give it much credit. But if you're trading, if you're scalp trader, then the 5 minute, 1 minute, some people even trade the 30-second, the 5 seconds, the 1 second. Those are very quick traders. Now, let's look at that. What's happening over here? How is my stream? I believe not too good. Something is happening with my stream. Let me try and fix this. What's happening over here? Okay, should be fine now, I hope. Should be going okay now. On the 5 minute, looks like we're breaking down. We look like we're going to be breaking down. Should be going okay now. Now, yeah. Bitcoin holding the 55 on the 5 minute, but I don't think so for long. If we start breaking here, we could go to the low of the range, 26,571, very possible in the next few hours. If not, we're going to rotate to the upside, 28,911. Let's see. The VIX, the volatility index was going down today, but now look at the VIX. Oh my God. That would tell me the S&P 500 is going down. Yes, we're down, we're going down. Yep, let's look at the VIX. On the 15 minute, the VIX is pumping up. That's not good for the markets. When the VIX is high, the markets are low, and the VIX, once it's at 30, that means the markets are getting to their lows. Above 30 is very scary for the markets. Yeah, look at that. That's a strong pump from the volatility index. It's telling me something is happening. The dollar should be going up as well. Let's look at the dollar. Yep, we have the dollar coming to the 200 EMA on the 15 minute. 200 EMA on the 15 minute for the dollar. Wow. What's happening? Market is acting funny towards the end of the trading day. The dollar is pumping. If the dollar can break the 102.295, then we'll be coming up possibly much higher. So we need to be careful with that. Yesterday's high is possible for the dollar. The VIX, on the other hand, this is crazy. It's crazy. We're recovering the whole dump that we had. Could the VIX go up? Oh man, to 29.94. This was on 15th of March. Where was Bitcoin on the 15th of March? What happened to Bitcoin on the 15th of March? The 15th of March. 15th, Bitcoin was here. We had a spike down, up and down. So yeah, things are looking like something's going to happen soon. Just mind you, we are trying to break. We are holding the 50 EMA on the 15 minute. So that's good news. But if we start releasing below that, then that would be a problem for Bitcoin. Okay, the VIX is pulling back. The DXY pulling back as well. Yeah, so that's what's happening in the markets. You just need to be watching the markets. That's a wick to the upside, a rejection wick. Possibly the dollar will come down and Bitcoin will continue higher to those targets that I gave. Let's see if Bitcoin can hold the 50 EMA. We have a wick that's like a stopping candle on the 50 and the 200. We might be going up. If we break the 28,780, that's a high, then yesterday's high is very possible and we might release to the upside. So just be careful with that. If you're in shorts, move your stops into profit, or at least break even. And then you'll have money to re-enter the trade again. I think I'm just going to leave my short running. It's at 140% profit, 73x lev. But if I get stopped out, I'll get stopped out at a small loss. I'm not moving my stop just yet. I want to see how it plays out. Anyways, guys, I'll leave the stream running. I'm going to get off. I'll just let the charts run over here. For anyone who wants to just keep watching the charts will be here on the 5 minute. And yeah, we'll just see how it plays out. I'll just stay for a few more minutes, actually. Just a few more minutes. I want to see what's happening. Interesting behavior on the 1 minute. It will look crazier than this. The 1 minute is at the 800. We're getting support. We got that stopping volume candle here. There you go. But we're not finishing through. This candle failed to go up. Let's see if the second one will give us something like this. A double bottom somewhere here. And we start creeping up. Eventually we get above the 50 EMA and continue higher. That's what you try to look for. Bollinger Band. We're getting support at the bottom, but it's vomiting. You can see the Bollinger Band is vomiting to the downside. No support. Once the Bollinger Band is curling something like this, when it starts doing something like this, then you know you have support here. And once the top starts vomiting, you know you're going higher. At the moment, it didn't curl up, but it's very possible to take a 2. If it holds here, then the Bollinger Band will start curling up and showing us a sign of support. Let's see how it plays out. What's happening? What's happening, guys? Just chilling over here, looking at the charts, trying to see where we may go to. No sign of stopping for Bitcoin. Looks like it wants to go for this liquidity. 27,592, 27,389, and possibly the daily open. So just be careful. We might release. Okay, this looks like it's not having the momentum. It's giving us a double bottom. Would you enter here? You're still below the 50. So technically, if you want to talk technically, This would be a gamble. If you want to talk technically, you would wait for a break above the 50, support from the 50, and continuing higher. Because it looks like a double bottom, but anything could happen. This candle might start moving fast. It could move fast. Let's watch it. Towards the end of the candle, there you go. We're moving. We're eating that liquidity. There you go. It will pull back a bit maybe when it eats. It usually pulls back. There you go. It pulled back. Might continue again. And then release down. We are rejected from the M3 pivot point. So when you're rejected from the M3 pivot point, you would expect it to come to the M1. But it doesn't have to happen today. I'm just letting you know of pivot points and how to play them. M2 leads to M4, M4 leads to M2, M3 to M1, M1 to M3. That's how you play pivot points. At the moment, it's at the 1 minute rejection, so I won't give it much credit. You could take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, if you start rejecting over here, it could mean we could see 25K. People don't expect to see 25K. That would be devastating for some people, because some people are long from 25K and they did not take profits because they believe that possibly 40K is going to come before 25K, but you might come to 25K and then continue to 40K. Then what do you do? So what do you do is you need to pay yourself all the time. There, we are releasing, eating that liquidity. You see it's going less and less. You need to take money when you have it. Now, I don't like that as a double bottom because the second one is lower than the first one. I like the first one to be lower, then the second one trails upwards. Something like this, lower, then we slightly trail up. The first one is lower, lower, then we have something a bit higher, trail up. Same thing. This is lower than this. This is lower than that, but nevertheless, we failed to break. We had a stopping volume candle over here. Look at that. Indecision candle at the top. So that's the 50 EMA lost on the 1 minute. 5 minutes probably lost it. There you go, 5 minutes. We might rotate now. I see too many red candles over here and not really following through. We might rotate, but we're below the 200, above the 800 EMA. 15 minutes, we should be at the 50 EMA at the moment, holding. We're poking it. I'm sure it's going to be here. Let it load and we'll see the 50 EMA. There we are. We are losing it. We haven't lost it yet. We're holding the 200 slightly. If you are new to the stream, then subscribe to the channel and like the videos if you like the content. Help support the channel by just liking the video. If you don't want to support it, by the link pinned at the comments, by buying me a coffee, then you could support it by just hitting the likes. Greatly appreciated. We got rejected from the 5 EMA and we're below the 50 and we're holding the 200. So we're getting squeezed, and usually when you get squeezed, you explode. Maybe a small explosion, but this is so overextended. Look at that. Overextension, trade it to the 50. You could just take your money and run and say, that's it, I'm out for the day. I'm fine with whatever I took. I'll trade another day. That's how you grow your portfolio. So if you had $1,000 account, you would take $50 or $100 profit and grow it that way. If you have $100, then you take 10, 20, 30. Thanks for smashing the likes. I see that I have 2 likes now. Not bad. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's Bitcoin. If you have any requests, I wouldn't mind taking a look at it, taking a peek at any coins. EOS was a nice coin to trade. Unfortunately, it didn't get to the levels I was waiting for to get to again, so I can trade it as I traded it last time. I traded it from 1.3, I believe. Value area high was 1.3. 1.312. I had taken a short over there before. And yeah, EOS. EOS. I was waiting for this that we had on the 4th of March. I took the trade and I was waiting for it to happen again. I might get it again. If EOS comes to the 1.312, between 1.312 and 1.330, slight wick above, I would enter. I would enter on that and put my stops slightly higher. I have my alert set and I'm waiting for it. So you just stay calm and patient and wait for your validation, invalidations to hit to enter a trade. Wait for the reason. Let the chart show you. Once it comes up here, then you know, okay, I could take a trade. But let's see on the hourly, how is it looking? Is it looking strong or weak today? But yeah, I have my alert set. I'm waiting for it. Just like an alligator, mouth open, waiting for the prey. As soon as I get it, I snap onto it. Look at that. We broke deviation, couldn't follow through. We might break down again. So I might not get my entry, but I'll wait for it. I'm no rush. The markets will always be there. You can't be a millionaire overnight or make gains overnight. You need to be patient. You will blow up your account if you're trying to rush. This is what I'm talking about. These kind of double bottoms, you get one, the next one slightly higher, then you start creeping up. And this time you broke above the 50, retrace, very nice, up, retrace. Now you needed to break this high to validate that you're going up. So you could trade this like this. Now you had a break to the upside, came back. You could enter somewhere here. But as you see, it came back. So you could say, okay, now we had this move up. I had this retrace. We're holding the 50. If I'm able to break, I could enter here or wait for the break over here. But sometimes you get snapped out of it. You get a wick and you're out. Yeah. If you're new to the channel, then just subscribe to the channel if you like the content. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me your precious time. More trades. I'm out.